Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S with back with another video. This is a quite controversial one. If I was a bit sensible, I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't mention it or do it, but I probably wouldn't make this video if I was a bit more sensible. But I think, like I often say, I like to be honest and possibly tackle controversial issues which make people think. But I've been thinking about this one for a while, so I thought I'd finally make a video about it since I've got around to it eventually. But so I hope I don't offend anyone. As ever, please feel free to disagree if you want to, or post in the comments why you think I'm wrong, if you think I'm wrong, which you may well be right, if there is a right and wrong in life. But anyway, that's debatable perhaps. But yeah, so I think this is probably my least favorite saying. I can't think of any sayings that really irk me or irritate or annoy me any more than this one, to be honest, off the top of my head. But some people might say some sayings are like ridiculous, like keep your eyes peeled or things like that. But I think this is one that sort of irks me or irritates me the most. And I think it's kind of an age discrimination thing, which, as if you don't know what I'm talking about, as hopefully you'll notice by the title actually what I'm talking about, which is like when people say I'm older than you or respect your elders. And yeah, I just find it a really annoying saying. And I think, to me, it really makes me think that it makes, again, I should be careful what I say, but this is probably going to lose my older audience. But I think that's, if I get any older, assuming I ever get an audience. But apparently I waffle quite a lot and don't get to the point, so please forgive me. But again, I hope people won't get offended. Like, I think people are very easily offended. I think if you disagree with my point, that's fair enough, and you can point to me why I'm wrong or why you disagree. But I think that whenever people say I'm older than you or respect your elders, I know it's like kind of a cultural thing, and I should be careful what I say again, because it's all around the world. Like, people say, if someone says I'm older than you or respect your elders, I think that's it. Kind of yeah, it's probably in all different countries or across Africa, Asia, Europe, and everywhere. Really, they say I'm older than you or respect your elders. But for me, it's really, I think it's quite a lazy saying. Like, it doesn't really make you think for yourself or whatever. And it's I know I'm a bit rebellious. I'm not a big fan of academia, for instance, and things like that. So it's another thing I sort of disagree with. But again, in my personal opinion, like, I hope I never use the term, even if I get to, if I become old, and even if I had a spine, which I'm normally quite spineless when I'm not on YouTube, or even when I'm on YouTube. If I ever became older and lived that long, and then, like, I could say to younger people, like, do this for me or do that for me, that I think it's one of those things like man up, where people say man up, for instance. I think it's always to the detriment of a man when you say man up, because it's always like to get them to do something, to be brave, or to be a better, like what some would say, be a better provider or things like that. So I think it's always to the detriment. It's never used to, like, benefit a man to say man up. And I think the same thing when people say I'm older than you or respect your elders, it's always for the benefit of the older people. But I think that it doesn't really benefit them in the long run anyway, because I think it makes them, as I say, my opinion, what I would consider to be quite lazy and unproductive. And like, they call people and say, like, carry this for me, or do this for me, or open doors for me, close doors for me, or do this or whatever, or open the door for that person. Or even though it's like kind of probably they're trying to be nice, but they, like, say if someone's walking past the door and someone says open the door for that lady or for that bloke or whatever, especially when it's a lady, they say open the door for that lady or whatever, or help that person with their shopping or whatever. I think it's kind of being charitable, but with someone else's energy or someone else's labor. I think it's a bit like saying the rich should pay more taxes, but saying that other people should give money to charity. And it's a bit of a controversial one, and she's not a very liked character in many ways by many people. But here in the UK, like Margaret Thatcher said, the problem with socialism is you run out of other people's money. And I think, so for anyone who hates Margaret Thatcher, please forgive me for quoting her, but I think that it's being charitable, but with other people's time and effort and energy and labour. So maybe I'm guilty of doing the same thing when I try and support charities, which I do try and support a lot. When I try and get other people to give money, or try and get other people to volunteer or mentor. And probably I'm not the most productive. I'm always just coming up with ideas, but not the most effective at putting them into action. But anyway, so yeah, as you can probably tell, I'm not a big fan of the saying I'm older than you or respect your elders. For me personally, it sort of, I think it's age discrimination. I also think it breeds laziness, hypocrisy, maybe even contempt. Like when people who are older ask younger people for things or to do things, they kind of the way they say it is almost like they're angry. It comes across to me a bit like they're almost angry, or it's almost a duty to like sort of tell you what to do. But it's like when someone asks you to do something, it's like you're doing them a favor, but but yeah. So I don't know if I'm making much sense, but yeah. So I'm not a huge fan of the saying, but I'd love to hear what other people think. Like, am I the only one who doesn't like that saying? Or I don't like to hate anything, but strongly dislike that saying. Shall we say? Am I the only one who thinks that? And maybe other people who like sort of say, oh yeah, my family did that, or my ancestry did that, or it's our cultural thing or a traditional thing. But if your culture is to jump off a cliff, would you jump off a cliff just because your culture told you to do it, or if your ancestry did it? You know, if all your uncles and aunts have diabetes, would you still do the same thing, or would you think, I better do something different, otherwise I'm going to end up with the same condition that they have, or that sort of thing. So that's my opinion. And sometimes I think like as well, like I love to walk quite a lot. I don't walk as much as I used to do, but I understand like people have time constraints, like with their work. People are stressed, they have to keep their jobs and things like that. And like when I used to actually have a job, which was years ago, I probably shouldn't say, but when I used to actually have a job at I don't know if I should say where I used to work either, but in a factory where I lived, shall we say, or warehouse. I used to work, when I started, I actually worked about 10 hours a day, except for Saturday and Sunday. So Sunday I had off, and Saturday I worked for 4 hours. So, but when I first started, when I had enough work to do, and when there wasn't enough work, they used to send me home, but which is fair enough. I understand why they did, but obviously I wasn't making any money for them, so why should they? I didn't blame them for sending me home when there was not much work to do, or anything like that. But what I'm trying to say is I can sometimes walk like 8 miles or 10 miles or even 12 miles probably for charity. If I did something for charity, maybe one day I should do like a sponsored walk, even on YouTube or something like that. I don't know if anyone would want to watch a live stream of me doing that, but like doing like a 12 miles, or not 12 hour, 12-mile walk, which would probably take me 3 or 4 hours to do. But so I've always been like someone who liked to walk even when I was younger. But I think a lot of people don't walk because I think it becomes a habit, like in their mind, that like it becomes so tempting to, or such a habit, really. Let's say, put it simply, like I can just get in my car, or I can park my car as near to my house as possible, park as near as I can to work. And it's like people try and avoid walking, in my opinion. Like when I see other people, I think it's almost like they try and avoid walking. And I think one of the things is when you say, I'm older than you, or respect your elders, you sort of get other people to, like, sort of say, get me some water, or get me some coffee or tea or whatever it is, or whatever you want to drink or eat, and you sort of get other people to do it. So it's kind of like it stops you from walking to the kitchen or walking or doing things. And I probably come across a bit cold if I'm too spineless to actually say it, or I don't want to come across as cold, but I'd probably say, like, if I had the guts, I'd probably say get it yourself. And I think most people, like, if their mate said to them, their friend, said to them, when I say mate, I mean friend, just in case people don't know what I mean. Because in other countries, mate might mean something else. I don't know. In America, I think it means something else. But anyway, yeah. So I think mate in America means partner. So people don't think I mean that. But yeah, if their mate or friend or whatever, whichever term you want to use, says, get something for me from the kitchen or something like that, or get this thing for me, or do this thing, you probably, a lot of time they'll say, no, you get it yourself. But when it's someone older, they say, no, I'll do it for you. And I think a lot of people do things for their parents, like bring them things, carry them food, bring them stuff. And I'm just expressing my opinion because I'm quite an honest person most of the time. So I'm not very good at telling lies or or being fake or anything like that, I don't think. So I do try. I'm not saying I've never lied or anything like that, to try to get out of trouble, but I'm probably not very good at it. You can probably tell as soon as I'm lying. But yeah, so to me personally, I think I could go with the flow and it would be quite easy. Like just say, oh, people say I'm older than you or respect you, so it's easier to do it that way. But I think maybe people, by doing too much for their parents, like bringing them things, carrying them things, doing things for them, maybe they're not actually helping them in the long run, because maybe that's making their parents more ill and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's my opinion. So I'd love to hear any opinions which agree with me, if anyone out there does actually agree with me, and obviously to the contrary, that's fair enough. So please don't hate the message. I'm just being honest, maybe even making people think. Maybe some people say, actually, I never thought of that, Michael, but you're actually making a point. Or M.K.S, or whichever one you want to call me. But yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something, but I forgot. But yeah, maybe people do too much for their parents, and that probably doesn't help them. But another thing I was thinking, that's what I was going to say. I should probably be careful what I say, because some people probably say my mum does too much for me, like washing my clothes and doing all this stuff for me. So anyway, I'm going to stop waffling, and I don't want this video to be too long, but please don't hate the message, as I say, and Please don't hate me. And if you've got a different opinion, please say why you think I'm wrong in the comment section below. I'm out. Peace and love.